This is the Hyperkin The Competitor controller. This thing will work for the Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One, also on Windows. Alright, so the main features are Hall effect sticks, impulse Hall effect triggers. It's got symmetrical sticks. You also have 2 back buttons here. Now in terms of build quality, I say it's pretty well built. There's no flex whatsoever. However, the plastic is not the most premium plastic you get here. And keep in mind, this is not an expensive controller. This is a very affordable controller. As you can see here, the plastic is matte. Now if you compare that to the DualSense, the plastic on here is smooth. In Hyperkin's version, it's a lot lighter too. And I actually like that. It makes longer gaming sessions a lot more comfortable. And check this out. So they named this thing The Competitor. And you can see why, right? Essentially, they made a DualSense for the Xbox. In the box, you also get a pretty long USB-A to USB-C cable here. It's not braided or anything. And you also get 2 additional concave stick caps. The one on here is a little domed, just like on the DualSense. Of course, this thing is made for the people who prefers the DualSense shape and size, and also for the people who prefer symmetrical sticks. Now, if you like something like this, then this is not for you, obviously. But if you do like the DualSense controller, and you happen to play on the PC or on the Xbox, then this controller is gonna be a treat for you to use. In terms of the sticks, these glide pretty smoothly. You can see there's a ring here. And in terms of tension, these are a little lighter than on the DualSense. I would say these are about the same as the tension on the Xbox controller. The shoulder buttons and the triggers, of course, takes the cue from the DualSense. They're nice and close to each other, so you can switch between the two very easily. Now, this thing does not have trigger lock actually. And the tension on here, I say it's very similar to the one on the DualSense. And in terms of the switches on the buttons, these are rubber dome switches. The switches on here, they're a little heavier and more tactile than on the DualSense. The switches on here are very soft and quiet, whereas on this guy, you can actually hear the click. Yeah, actually, I would say these are a lot better than the ones on the DualSense. They're just a lot more tactile, and you can really feel each button press. I want to address something on the box real quick. It says right here, separated D-pad. This is actually not true. So check out this D-pad, right? So it looks like it's separated, but it's actually not. So I'm only pressing one button, but every other buttons will move along with it. So it's actually a one-piece D-pad. But to be honest with you, you really don't want this to be separated. By them being connected, it makes it easier for you to do motion inputs. So for example, if you want to go from one button, because they are connected, when you rotate your thumb, the other buttons will go down and make it easier for you to slide around. And if they are truly separated, the raised edges of the button here will make your thumb get stuck. On the D-pad like this, you really don't want this to be separated. As far as cardinal directions, let me tell you, this D-pad is awesome for that. It's awesome for 3D fighting games. If you need precise inputs, it doesn't get any better than this. I can do all of my counters very accurately. Double taps are snappy. I can do all of my combos on here with ease. And you just know immediately when you have a good controller or a good D-pad in particular, is when you play someone that's really high level and you're able to hold your own without miss inputs, right? And this controller does that for me. I'm able to hold my own pretty much right away. And I guess that's because I'm pretty comfortable with the DualSense. So it doesn't take a lot for me to adjust to this guy. They're essentially the same, even down to the shape and the size and also the surface of the D-pad. It's exactly like the DualSense. And also, check this out. There's not a lot of wiggle at all. The first generation of the DualSense, it wiggles a lot. And I'm glad that this guy doesn't wiggle, because that makes it a lot more accurate. And the back buttons, as you can see here, are built into the handle, so they get out of the way. And they're pretty snappy too. I can do my backdash pretty easily. And check this out, there are two switches here that you can lock. This is actually to lock the back buttons, so they become inoperable. Like literally, you cannot press them anymore. So I guess this is good for tournament play where back buttons are not allowed. Now, there are very few controllers that strike the balance where the cardinal directions are very good and tight, but also nails motion inputs as well. And this D-pad is actually one of those controllers where it does both really well. If I have to nitpick, the only thing I'll say is the surface on here is very smooth, just like on the DualSense. So if you have sweaty hands, then it gets a little sticky for you to slide it around. As opposed to a matted D-pad like this, if you have a sweaty thumb, it'll slide around here a little easier. But despite that, it's still a very good D-pad for motion inputs. Easy. Circular motions on here are also very easy to do. Usually it's pretty hard to pull out a 720 on a D-pad. I typically use a joystick for that, but it's doable on this D-pad. And that just tells you how good the D-pad is for motion inputs. So yeah, this D-pad is awesome for both 2D and 3D fighting games. Alrighty, let's go to Game Paddler to check out the input lag for the controller. And of course, as you can see here, this is wired only. With the latencies for the sticks, you get minimum of 3.82, average is about 6 milliseconds, maximum is a little over 8 milliseconds. The polling rate is about 250. I would say this is average for Xbox controllers. Jitter is a little over 1 millisecond, so it's not the best. And on the button latency side, the polling rate is also the same, very similar across the board. It's a little bit faster than on the sticks. The average is about a millisecond faster. And of course, since we care about fighting games here on this channel, so we care more about these numbers. So the latency of 5 milliseconds on average, that's not too shabby, I would say. It could be better, but it could be a lot worse too. Alright, final thoughts. This is one of the more affordable controllers out there. It's only going to run you back $50, so that's cheaper than the regular DualSense. I think that one sells for like $80. Of course, with this one, you don't get all of those fancy haptic feedback, but what you have here is really good. And I'm actually genuinely surprised. In terms of just playing fighting games, this is crazy for me to say, but I think this guy is better for fighting games than the DualSense. Right? I know, it's insane. And there's a few reasons for that. One, it's lighter. The switches are more tactile. You can just feel it more. And then finally, you get back buttons. Oh, and let's not forget, the D-pad is just awesome for both 2D and 3D fighting games. And all of that for only $50. And that just tells you that sometimes a really good controller doesn't have to cost a lot. This is the DualSense Edge. It's got all the fancy technologies on here. But when it comes to fighting games, you don't need all of that. And if you're somebody who is very comfortable with the PlayStation layout, well, This is a no-brainer. If you found the video to be helpful, give it a like, subscribe for more, and take care now.